And you just listen to a young girl who was saying that the Nigerian community here is totally very angry. Covers all the aspects affecting various sectors of our general was the Ijaw country at the Niger Delta of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He went to several schools. His major academic genesis was at the government college in Delhi. And
go gather, destroy their food. With the camp and that other camp, some more camp, you don't compensate everybody. But some of
in its key generation sometimes. Today I'll focus on the style of J.P. Clark, a poet and writer, and we shall also be very interested in his poem Mbongaya.
There's something that needs to be exploited.
Some lives are meaningful.
Some are empty.
There are lives that are meaningful, with too much meaning and riches to offer humankind. After some of these earthly adventures and no more, one can still find footprints of these great lives on the pavements of our contemporary life.
Good evening, you're welcome to the program Green Planet.
So this is the snail farm of the African Center for Community and Development. Wow, you can see snails are climbers. They're all on the door. Snail farming is really very important, and we carry out snail farming at the African Center for Community and Development. For several reasons, because the price of red meat is very high and access to proteins is very vital to poor and middle income families in order to step up their resilience to diseases like HIV/AIDS, malaria, tuberculosis, typhoid, and so on, and to keep them healthy and capable of working to add more value to the gross domestic product of Cameroon, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Africa. The price of alternatives like fish is also very high, and the stock of fish is also diminishing with illegal fishing in the west coast of Africa, and also with unsustainable fishing methods like twin trawling or the dumping of chemicals in seabeds or spawning grounds. The destruction of mangroves and so on have also impacted on the environment and has also helped to reduce the amount of fish we see in our markets. So snail farming is very important because firstly it is very cheap to engage in. It needs just some wood, probably used wood from a building project, some nets, and also some cement to prevent ants from getting into the snail cage or pen when it is constructed. And then you have your snail house that can house so many snails, and it can also help to improve on the dietary preferences of poor people because they can use waste from their kitchens and to supplement their snail farms. In that light, it is a form of recycling because this waste will normally have been dumped and thrown away without any use. And it is very necessary for us to continue with snail farming because fisheries have not really been expanded into the sector of freshwater aquaculture, and many people have not gotten into the situation of using the sea to develop fish farms. They only depend naturally on the replenishing of the sea, and also pastoral nomadism is facing a lot of threats following climate change, the reduction, destruction of pasture land, migrations, a lot of pressure, and therefore snail farming can also be very important, especially as we are in a region where there is a very high dependence on forest animals or bushmeat, which is becoming unsustainable in many sections of the region. So I invite you to watch Snail Farming at the African Center for Community and Development and see how snail farming can be done, travel with village poultry to add value to the protein dimensions of people in sub-Saharan Africa, Africa, and the world. Snails are climbers. They climb on surfaces. You can see them now on the door. And many of them are inside there. They're hanging. They come down for food and also to lay their eggs. These eggs will hatch soon, and the snail pen is going to have some new live mongers in a jiffy who are going to join these other ones, and in not a very distant future some are going to be harvested, eaten, and supplied to those who have taste for this wonderful delicacy in this part of the world. You can see a snail feeding on potatoes. They like potatoes. You can see another snail nibbling on water. Like all creatures, it is vital to know that they must be well kept and also taken care of to make sure that life can be continuous and to make sure that access to protein is a veritable reality in Cameroon, Africa, and the world. Thank you very much for watching People, Places and Events and the African Center for Community and Development. It has been Arrey Ivo.
Thank you very much. And you just listened to a young girl who was saying that the Nigerian community here is totally very angry. Covers all the aspects of various sections of our journal.
It was the Ijo country of the Niger Delta of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He went to several schools. His major academic genesis was at the government college in Delhi.
Go gather, destroy their food. With the camp and that other camp, Tongo camp, you don't compensate everybody.
In its degeneration sometimes. Today our focus will be in the style of J.P. Clark, a poet and writer, and we shall also be very interested in his poem Akmo Dancer.
It's someone that needs to be exploited.
Some lives are meaningful, some are empty. There are lives that are meaningful, with too much meaning and riches to offer humankind. Long after some of these earthly adventures and no more, one can still find footprints of these great lives on the pavements of our contemporary lives.
Good evening, you're welcome to the program Green Planet.